Geeks love solving problems with a wide range of tech. But what if this problem came from a parent at your child's school whose kid was born with a left arm that ended mid-forearm, and they were wondering if you could 3D print a prosthetic to give their child more abilities? On today's show, I'm joined by Cliff, a pilot and IoT and mobile developer from the UK. He's put together an open source 3D printed bionic hand that can be customized for a range of tasks like picking things up or even playing Xbox. Learn about 3D printing a hand, from the mechanics of the movement using fishing line to flexible filament tendons connecting the fingers together, and then learn how you can control it with pressure sensors, consumer IoT hardware, and a mobile app. And the best part is you can do all this at home. Let's get personal computing with Cliff Agius. Hey, Cliff. Good to see you again. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Nice to be here.
And this is handy.
This is handy. Waving hello.
Waving hello to the Redmond Reactor here.
Cheers.
Awesome. This is so cool. I absolutely love this. This is brilliant. But why? Why? It's a cool thing, but why? What's the story behind this hand?
Yeah, well, family friends, their son Caden was born with no forearm, and he's been using this hook.
One of these
arm.
things?
Yeah, that's provided by the NHS, the National Health Service in the UK, which is where I live, and that's what Caden has. That's what other children have, and also adults as well.
It's rather...
Given this, it's a bit
bulky,
bit heavy,
sturdy. And then what does
that goes? If you imagine Caden has got no arm, so this goes on his prosthetic, what he's got left of his thing. This goes across his shoulder. Obviously, doesn't fit me, and it hooks on his other shoulder. And as he moves his shoulder backwards and forwards, it pulls literally fishing line, and it opens and closes the hook.
That feels fairly.
Yeah, have a try. It's a hefty. So you can imagine he's Popeye on the shoulder.
Popeye on one arm, on one shoulder, and then on the other.
Yeah.
It's like glass fibre and a bit of metal.
Yeah. That's $6,000 to £6,500. So what's that? $10,000? Yeah,
$8,000. $8,000.
Just for that part, which gets replaced every year. He goes to the hospital, three trips to the hospital.
Being a kid, I guess he grows. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so he goes to the hospital. They put on 2 prosthetic socks, which is like little socks they put on his stump.
Yeah.
And as he grows out of it, because that's what happens, kids grow. He takes the socks off. When he's down to skin, goes back to the hospital. They remeasure, recast a new one, and he keeps the hook to the next hand.
Right.
I had to borrow that from the hospital. But yeah, that's an old one, so he's got a new one, and he keeps it between each hand.
And these hooks don't look very usable. I mean, you can pick things up with it.
Yeah.
But that's it, whereas a hand here.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to look at replacing this with a hand?
Well, my sons went to the same school as Caden, and his mum caught me one morning in the playground and said to me, "Have you seen the news about this dad that 3D printed a prosthetic hand?" And I was like, "No, I haven't, Sharon." She explained to me what had happened about this charity that had been 3D printing hands. And she looked at me and she went, "You've got a 3D printer, haven't you, Cliff?" I was like, yes, I have.
See where that's going.
Yeah, I was hoodwinked, and I was pulled in, and instantly, I love playing with tech. Anything, technology. I was like, this is a cool project. So I went out to the website, Team Unlimited. It's a cool charity in the UK and across Europe. In fact, actually, I think they're pretty much across the world now. You can download the 3D files and print a 3D prosthetic. And what that does is effectively replace the hook at the end. So instead of a metal hook on the end of the prosthetic there, it's a hand that closes.
So it's a hand literally printed with like a home 3D printer?
Yes, yeah.
Don't even need a big commercial setup,
nope.
Just a cheap home 3D printer, download the files, print away. Hand.
Yeah. I mean, you can use, real basic like Ender 3 printers, which cost like $200 to get a cheap. You're not going to get as good quality as this. This is done with a Prusa printer, which is around $800. But we're still less than $1,000. And once you've got a printer,
$8,000 for that.
Exactly.
And once you've got a printer, you just keep
printing. Yeah. And the material that you see there, and the rest of the arm, costs less than $10 to print all the parts you need to make that hand.
So you say the rest of the arm. I mean, this I guess is the mounting part.
Yep.
So you're saying with one of these, every year they have to rebuild.
Yep.
This, but this is printed as well.
That's printed as well. That's $1 worth of plastic there. Takes about 5 hours to print, and use the open source Prusa slicer, which goes with the Prusa printer that we've been using for this. Prints in PLA plastic, so you can see the model here. This has all been designed to fit Caden, so we took the moulds that he used from the hospital and brought it into the slicer. And then when we slice this, come across and we can see the fact that it only takes, 5 hours and 51 minutes, and we can look at how it prints all the elements. You can see it printing through, and how it's going to lay up the print, and obviously it'll grow out the print bed as we print this, and the same happens for the fingers and the palm, etc. And yeah, if I was to slice this properly, I'd even get that down a little bit more, for actually being a quicker print.
So it's just an overnight print, you just click print, go to bed, wake up the next morning,
and there's a part.
Caden's got a new socket.
Yeah, exactly. This is an old one. This is one of Caden's old ones. You can see the sensors just inside. And he got too big because he's a grown lad.
Yep.
And when it gets too tight, he literally sends me a message or calls me up and says, "Can I get a new one?" I make it 5% bigger. We've worked out over the last few years that we're 5% bigger on the slicing software. Reslice it, which is what you do with a 3D model. Send it to the printer, and 5 hours later, we have a new one. I drop it off on his doorstep. This is the colour that Caden's picked, so it's like black with like kind of like flecks of silver in there.
Yeah.
And that's because he wanted his prosthetic arm to look obviously a prosthetic and not. Okay, we tried with like skin flesh coloured filament, and he was like, "No, don't want that. I want it to be obvious that it's completely different." So he uses black, and you can see on the handy here, you can see all the red inlay, which is the ligaments as such, which holds it all together. So otherwise, it'll all fall apart.
It's kind of like a red rubber.
But yeah, it's a flexible filament. His is bright green, so it's black with bright green. It looks awesome.
Kind of Xbox colours.
Yeah, Xbox colours, exactly. He loves his Xbox. So yeah, he's got that, and he uses that. So yeah, and he still uses the hook because he was born with no arm, and he's part of a trial group in the UK, and so he's had a hook, an arm since birth, pretty much, maybe 1-2 years old. He was practicing using it, so he still can do things quicker with the hook than he can with handy.
He's got the muscle memory there.
Yeah, he's got the muscle memory, exactly. But others that have been used that haven't had a hook, that have been using just handy, are they're loving it. Caden's always wanted to be a chef.
Yeah.
You can't hold a tomato or tomato or with a hook. It's just not going to work. You're going to squash it with all that. All that is a lot.
You can feel that force there. Yeah. That's going to crack an egg or anything.
Exactly. Yeah. But you can with handy because it can close up and hold the object, a round object. It's not going to squash it.
How does it close up? I mean, yeah, you showed it earlier, waving, and obviously this was based off a fishing wire, and it looks like there's kind of wires in there. So
yeah.
How does it work?
That is literally inside here, and they pull on. You can see just in here, there's fishing line, braided fishing line. It's a £100 braided fishing line. Right. I literally went along to the fishing tackle shop near me and bought a reel of it. I think it cost like £5, and I got like 1,000 metres of it.
Wow.
And so 3D printed parts, you got the fishing line here. In the back of the handy here is just 4 motors.
Yeah.
And all they do is they move in and out by 20 millimetres. And as they move out, they close the finger. And then as it retracts again, the springs in the back of the finger here, they pull the fingers back upright again.
So it's literally mimics the hand by having a spring at the back to pull it back, and then you're just pulling there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just pulling that like that.
Yep.
And your fingers back and forth.
That's it. Yeah.
And then how are the motors controlled? Because I guess you can't just have them. You were kind of waving. There seemed a bit more control over that. How is it all controlled?
We have off the shelf. This is a similar board that's inside there. So which is an Adafruit, Blue Fruit boards.
Just like a commercial off-the-shelf microcontroller, hobbyist type board.
Exactly, and then we've got the a motor controller board sitting next to it, and it talks between the two on I2C, which is a communications protocol, and the motors send a position feedback from a potentiometer. We measure the position, and with that we can say stop, start, etc. And then we just send which motor we want to control. So these two fingers move together because when you think about it, when you do a grip, you don't tend to move those fingers independently.
It's kind of hard to do that.
It is, yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So we don't do it. So we move them together. That saves a motor, saves money. And then we have a motor for the 2 primary fingers and opposing the thumb as well.
1, 2, 3, 4 motors.
And then we can control the grips. So, and we use, Caden has a, this is where we're going to get physical here. So we have a force sensitive resistor, which sticks inside the socket, and then when the muscle squashes against that and squashes it against the hard plastic, it senses that position. So if you stick your arm up like this, and you get your pincers, and you go over the side of your elbow, if you put your hand back, that muscle goes tight. You put your hand forward, that muscle goes tight. Hold your hand straight up and make a fist, both muscles go tight. So open the grip, close the grip, and the grip fist grip, if you hold that for more than 600 milliseconds, is what we've got it programmed to, it changes the next grip in the grip sequence.
So essentially, he moves his hand the same way I move my hand. He moves the exactly same muscles.
Yeah, exactly.
And just controls.
Controls it, yeah. I mean, the human body is amazing.
That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. Yeah. So you just literally measuring because the muscle swells up and presses against this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And when all we have is these are literally £5-6. Again, you can get all these parts. You can get from even Amazon, deliver them to your door. But you can get them a little bit cheaper elsewhere. But you can get all these parts and build all this. At the moment, the motors are quite expensive, but we are working on a V2 at the moment, which is even more modified in the back, and the mobile phone app. We're moving across to Maui.
Product placement.
So we're moving across to Maui as well. And we, at the moment, it's around 500 to 600 sort of pounds, dollars.
$700-800.
Yeah,
compared to 8,000, so a tenth the cost.
And we're aiming to get that less than 200.
Wow. So in terms of the software that runs this, I mean, obviously, you're saying you bring the price down. Is this something that's the software's open source, the hardware's open source?
Yes. All of this, the hand originally, the original hand design from the wrist onwards was a group called Open Bionics, which is a group in the UK that designed this. And Open Bionics because it was on GitHub and they had it all open source. They went closed source about 4 years ago. So if you go out to the Open Bionics GitHub, you'll see that it was all closed source about 4 years. And that's because it wasn't that they were shunning the open source community, is because they're trying to get approval with the likes of the National Health Service, with the likes of the big hospitals here in the USA, in Germany and France, and they need to get approvals. And to do that, it couldn't be open source. So they went closed source. Which is a real shame, but they left the files up there, which is good. So we took those files, heavily modified the internals to make it work and be cheaper, because their one is considerably more. It's on a bit more expensive than the hook. That Caden had before, but it's it's a professionally built bit of kit, not something that's being made at home in a workshop.
But the advantage, I guess, of things being made at home in a workshop is if he does something and breaks his fingers, you can print new fingers.
We can, yeah.
It's not, you're not paying another $6,000 for something new. Yeah. You can print new things.
Yeah, and as he grows, we can just print a new socket, and I drop these off, and he his dad will connect it up for him, and off he goes again. Yeah, I mean, he breaks the fingers, if you think when your hand, you hit something, you'll stop because it hurts.
Yeah, you feel it. You've got to get that sensation.
He hasn't got a feeling, so he often breaks the two little fingers because he bends them back and they snap off. But again, they're pennies to print, and take less than 30 minutes.
Just changes fingers if you break
them. Yeah, and and it all runs off a 5-volt power brick. And again, even though the motors are 12 volt, I step up the 5 volts to 12 volts. We're only drawing a few hundred milliamps for a few seconds. So it can cope, which means that, again, even the power supply is off the shelf, cheap. And the problem he has is the fact that his friends all want to charge their mobile phone. So he unplugs his battery and charges their phone, and then his hand doesn't work. So it's, it's kids.
Sorry, mate, can I borrow your arm to charge my phone?
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, and we have it's a Xamarin mobile app at the moment, which we use for setting the hand up.
Yeah.
And the idea is when you have a full professional prosthetic limb, you have it set up in a hospital, you have to go and see a specialist, and have it all like configured and set up. I want to get away from that and make it such that we can take a 3D printer, like a Prusa 3D printer, with some filament, and this was the idea before, in the before times, and drop it in a hospital. I've been talking to a hospital in Islamabad in Pakistan, and drop in a 3D printer, filament and the components they need, and let them make them for the local children, because they don't have the National Health Service that we have in the UK, and the amazing hospital you have here in the US. So let's help those that don't have that facility. And another reason why I want to get the price down to less than £200 if we can, so that we can drop off a printer, let them print them locally, and then the app will let them set up whether it's a left hand or right hand, what kind of motor settings they need for the force feedback on the motors, and the muscle configuration, and how much time and dwell time, etc. It's all configurable in the app.
It kind of means that somebody who's not a medical expert can set this up. Because you're not a prosthetics expert, you're a pilot.
No, exactly, yeah.
So anybody with kind of an idea of how it works could actually print this and set it up.
A parent, if you're a parent and you're watching this, you can download all the files and make one.
Wow. So in terms of how Caden's using this going forward, what's his plans for the future? Has he worked out how he needs to have his hand working for his future career?
He has, using the app, you can create grip packs, so you can have one for school, you have one for home for playing with his Xbox controller, which is, he kind of loves playing. He's got a trigger finger, he holds the Xbox there, and he's got a trigger finger, and he can fire the gun in Call of Duty or whatever, quicker than his friends. But when he's in the restaurant, he can hold the tomato, he can hold a potato and cut it up. He can't. He could put a glove on maybe and go to the oven and get the hot things out, but obviously the plastic remote he does that. Or he uses the hook where it's metal.
So it flips back to this to take hot things out the oven and goes back to the...
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, and it's, because it just slots on, he can switch between them quite quickly.
Quick change. Yeah. Awesome. This is absolutely fantastic. No, this is really good. You say you've made all this open source, so anybody can come along and just recreate this.
Yeah.
So
it's all on my GitHub, so you can reach out there and go out and look it up and download the files and make your own. Even if it's just for a bit of fun to sit on your desk and play with during the day.
Sit and wave at you.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess it's kind of a call to anyone watching is, if you think this is something you could do at home, there's probably charities all over the world who would benefit from this. If you've got a 3D printer, you want to try this out, maybe this is something you could create, say just for a hand that waves at you, or actually you could help some kids who just don't have all of their limbs. Maybe you can kind of place. This is fantastic. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you flying all the way out here, especially for this. I'm sure your passengers appreciated the small detour to come and see me.
Well, yeah, no.
But no, thank you very much. And it's so great to have you in the Reactor in Redmond.
Thanks a lot.
As cool as this project is, what's even cooler is you can recreate this at home. Check out the link below for everything you need.